Soulwind TV presents.
I think that the public needs to understand predators have access.
Never go on dating sites ever again.
So welcome to Bullseye Nuclear, where we give the voiceless the platform to speak. And today, my guest, I'll call him Carlos, he wants to come and educate people, tell his story about what he encountered through dating sites. Many times the dating sites out there we think are safe, but they are a hotbed for predators. So Bullseye Nuclear is an arm of Empowered to Change International, where we empower the broken to heal, the voiceless to speak, and communities to come together. So Carlos, I want to hear about your story, and it's very recent, something that just happened.
Set up my own profile on a site called and met this girl. She said she was 18 years old. Started talking on there, but she wanted to get my phone number, so I gave it to her.
On her profile was her picture and said she was 18.
Yes.
So on your profile picture, had your name and your age,
Yes.
which is in your 30s.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we started talking through text messaging on our phones. And then she told me she was 17 years old. And then she kept on being adamant on me sending pics, and she wouldn't stop.
But she said she'll be 18 in like a week.
And
I just want to stop and say, I think that it's incredible the courage that you're taking to tell your story. You have your shirt says courage to change. It's huge because we talked before this
yes.
and that you have a desire so that other people don't get hung up on this type of thing, right?
Yes.
So I just want to say thank you because it takes a lot of guts to come up here and just to be transparent about that, which is part of why we're doing what we're doing. So she was the aggressor.
Yes.
She was asking for pictures. She sent nude pictures. She volunteered those.
Yes. And then I kept on asking her why. And then I finally succumbed and sent her a nude pic.
After this exchange happened, and this was over a course of what, about a week?
A week.
You did not realize it, but you were actually being groomed. You were being set up. So after about a week, she's talking to you, you're talking to her. You're thinking she is an adult. And then she said, well, I will be in a week. So when you first got this message from this young woman and she and you started talking, were you kind of excited that somebody was interested?
Yeah. You start out as friends.
Valid point.
That's
Valid
what I was
point.
just asking for, is just to be friends.
So you were looking for friendship.
Yeah. I asked her if she was in high school, and she said no, she's actually working at her job. And she was a caregiver
Okay.
for, I guess, old people or something like that.
Okay. So you thought 18, holding it down a job,
Yep.
finish school.
Just to be clear, after she sent me the nude pics, her so-called father started sending me messages like, sexting is illegal, call me a pedophile, and then he just was serious about getting money out of me. He knew I was disabled, and I guess he knew he was extorting a disabled person, but he didn't really care. He just kept on begging me more and more money, threatening to call the police on me, trying to get me he was like, his wife wanted to turn me into the police, but he didn't want to destroy a young man's life. That's what he said to me.
To recap, you get on this dating site. This girl reaches out to you,
Yes.
says she's 18, then she says she'll be 18 next week, gets the exchange of nude pictures between both of you,
Mhm.
and then a third party person saying that's the dad and the mom, right,
Mhm.
are saying she is now suicidal because of what is going on here,
Yeah.
even though it shows that she generated it. And how are you going to help the situation? You need to send money.
Yes.
So then what happened?
and it was on a Friday, I believe, and there was no response. And then come Tuesday the next week, I get a long message from a guy named, and he tell me to call him right away or he's gonna turn me into the police. I call him. He says his so-called daughter or something decided to commit uh suicide, and he said, "What can you do for me? What can you do for me to help me out?" I told him I didn't know what I could do for him. He was like, "Well, you can give us $1,000. We spent 4,000 of our own money on, I guess, treatment bills." And then he just started harassing me more and more. I sent him 200, and then he kept on asking me when my paycheck was. Like, he was adamant, just kept on texting me, threatening to turn me into the police
Mm-hmm.
for a pedophile
Right.
and all that stuff. I sent him another 400. And then he was more adamant, telling me I need to send him 300 right away, or he's going to turn me into the police.
So that's what I meant by being groomed. He's they set you up from the beginning. And what they were doing was, we certainly don't know. I mean, he said his name's probably not
Yeah.
right. And he had you, how did you send this money? He had you cash app it to another person, not even himself.
On Cash App, it
Okay.
said
Okay.
what it said is the person's name.
Right. So there was another name in there. And you know what? Just a little side note to all of our listeners. This information is being given to the FBI because we know that Carlos is not the only victim of this situation. Now, it might even appear controversial, right? Because you were speaking, you're in your 30s, you were speaking to somebody you thought was 18. And then after you guys were talking, she said, "Oh, I'll be 18 next week."
Yeah.
Did you have a red flag at that time, or did you not even, you know,
I was hesitant. I was like, should I do this? Should I not do this?
we are recognizing that people come to the table with different traumas, vulnerabilities, and we understand that, and that's why we are here to work through that. So there's absolutely no judgment, but then at the same time, you took responsibility for the situation. Even though you were being groomed, being set up, you got swindled out of some money, you still took responsibility for the entire action, did you not?
Yes.
What happened, in general terms? And this is where I came into the picture,
Yeah.
right? But what happened in general terms? You sent him $200, then $400, then he was asking for another $300.
That day.
Yes. And for our listeners, we are in the Tampa Bay area, and the number that it came back to was a Tampa number. However, doing the background check, it was a burner phone. So untraceable, didn't come back to a particular name. So what happened when we came on the scene is that we contacted this guy, and uh, we asked him, hey, has he ever been arrested for extortion or human trafficking? Because the deeper issue for me is the girl that was being used to groom Carlos. It's unknown if she did this willingly or against her will. Who is this? Was it photoshopped? Was this